So again, this is Jefferson Chen, the engineer, doing a visual inspection of this building here at 2315 Divisadero.
Yeah.
The front and the back of the building currently look like will fall into soft story category because I don't see any solid segment of wall that we can deem as shear wall for earthquake resistance. The front definitely is going to be soft story because it's all openings with garage doors. There are two of them, and also the entry foyer. That's also the open. So that will be one line of one side of the building that we look at that will qualify into soft story. The other line would be on the back, and that usually will be the same thing, where lots of window openings and doors and garage pathways go through a building. And looks like this side in the back is all completely open as well. I see there are two small segments of wall on either side of the garage pathway. It could be where, you know, if we open up walls, there might be a frame, a steel moment frame that could have been installed to provide lateral resistance, but I won't know until we open up the wall and ascertain that fact. But I would just assume that the back side of the building currently on the ground level is also wide open, and it will also fall into the soft story category.
So they would need to retrofit.
That's right.
Okay.
So mainly those are the two lines that we will have to do some retrofitting for this building. And typically the retrofit measure would entail coming in with steel moment frames, and they would basically be concealed into the wall. So you will have two columns supporting one beam that will make up this frame. And depending on how many frames that we need to install, right now there are new kind of frames that just came out in the market, which will only need bolting the frame together rather than welding, so it eliminates a lot of the inspections and labor. So because a lot of manufacturers are now thinking about coming to do and be in this sort of work for the retrofit. And I think the cost for each frame, depending on the length and height, will range from $7,000 to $10,000 a frame.
Okay.
And that's just the frame. And underneath the frame, you also need to put in foundation to support the frame. And that usually will entail a gray beam that runs from one side to the other underneath the slab, and that will connect the whole frame together and make that into an integral part of the resistance system. So, so I would say add to, say, $10,000 the frame, another, say, $5,000 for the foundation work.
Okay.
So now if you have two frames, you're looking at 15 times 2, 30,000, and that is probably just the material, and you add on another probably like 15,000 or so to $20,000 of labor,
Okay.
and that's how I estimate roughly a $50,000 job for this building.
For this building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you
and
do
that
one at
then
the front and
that's
the
right.
back.
You do in the front garage and then do one in the back.
The other inspector said they may require one in the middle. Is that what's...
The middle, yes, that would be a good idea also, but you could probably utilize some of the interior walls that we already have and put plywood on
Okay.
to make them into wood shear wall. And that would be much less costly.
Okay.
So you're looking at perhaps, say, just $3,000 per wall.
For that.
Right.
Per wall, so each side?
The long direction, we don't need to do anything. It's always the short direction. So
Okay.
we're taking the transfer direction, doing one wall in the middle.
Okay.
But city has its own kind of ways to make you do certain things. Right now, nobody knows exactly how much they want you to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the very minimum, you're thinking $50,000 to maybe 55, including that
That's right.
shear walling thing.
Yeah.
And then if they require one more, maybe another 25K, the very most.
That's right.
Okay. So 55 to 75K.
Yes.
Because you take it at the 5 because you don't need that.
And I think for doing this, the city will give you a lot of sort of financial incentive, whether through no permit fees
I see.
or give you certain loans
Okay.
that is at a very good rate to incentivize owners.
Okay.
Because a lot of landlords or homeowners can't afford
Right.
doing all this work. So there will be a lot of financial incentive, but we don't know exactly
What that would
they
be.
are.
So, and then from now, let's say, to the time that the work needs to be finished, what's your estimate?
They actually will send out all the notices by the fall of this year.
Okay.
And you literally have about 2 to 5 years to complete this.
Got it.
I
Okay.
think tier 3 falls within 5
Yeah.
years. And then
Right.
Okay,
So
okay.
every tier has its own
it's on that cheat sheet.
duration of deadline to complete. But they would send out the notices, and then qualified personnel such as architects, engineers, and licensed contractor can assess all the buildings and come up with their recommendation of what is deemed.
And then can these people do it proactively, or is it better to just wait for the
I
city?
will wait, because there are all these programs that
Okay.
they provide you that you could take advantage of.
Got it.
And so I wouldn't want to do that ahead of
Prior.
time.
Got it. All right. Thanks. That's
Yeah,
it.
Sure.